All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? We back in the lab here, Dayton 24/7 Sports Podcast, powered by Ladybug Services, and I'm here with my compadre Matty D in the building. How you feeling, Matt?
Doing well. How are you? The Deon Cash. It's already ready for another week of sports in the area.
No question about it, and we got our hot topics as we'll enter the baseball fray a little bit deeper. Red Leg Report. We got Dayton Dragons, Wright State, UD, big matchup, and then our teams of the week. In the high school and the Little League field. Then we got the NBA playoffs, Matt. As we saw the play-in game and how electrifying weird it was at the same time, and we'll see what happens in this first round. We got a lot of interesting first round matchups, and then we'll get your hot take on the Heat and if they should have even been in the play-in. Then we got our hot topics such as the OSU spring game, WNBA draft talk, bonus sports all-star game, team of the week, and some other things. But right now, how are you feeling today? And I know you got a lot of stuff on your mind, man.
Yeah, definitely a lot to talk about, especially from the baseball world. We were talking about, Reds. Hard to believe we're now already 2 weeks into their season. They've already had a couple rain delays in the games that are going to be moved to different days. I think they were supposed to host the Cubs one day, and that game's actually been moved all the way to September. They're going to play it as part of a doubleheader. But Reds right now currently 4-6 on the season. They had tough losses on the road at Philadelphia. They lost 2 out of 3. They did have a nice bounce back last Sunday to prevent being swept, but they had 2 tough losses on the road at Atlanta. Going to try to right the ship before coming back home. They're actually home for a week-long homestand coming up very, very soon over at Great American Ballpark. So they won 2 of the first 3 at home. They'll definitely look for a couple more wins on the road before the month of April is out. But the important thing to keep in mind with the Reds is they started out, 3-22 last year. They were low and away the worst team in the majors. Already they've got 4 wins, so having that alone be a massive improvement from where this club was last year, that's definitely got to improve the players' spirits.
When it comes to the Reds this season, like you said, they started out abysmal and it was ugly, and we were all angry. Like, why did the front office do this to us? But this year has been more like, okay, young squad, we know what we're expecting. We got, some guys leading from the front. They're also young as well, with India, leading, and the big time pitcher that we got,
Hunter Green.
Yeah, Hunter Green. These are our leaders now, so they're young they're young and learning themselves. But like you said, to start out 3-1, okay, they're 4-6. They're taking on Atlanta right now. They will have to take on Tampa Bay, who's the hottest team in the league. I mean, they're the best team in the league, 11-0.
Yeah.
Haven't lost yet. And so, it will be a little bit of a test for them early, but I do like what Coach Price is doing. And I think, it's good to see the Reds battling each and every day.
Yeah, you mean Coach Bell, David Bell in his 5th season with the as the manager of the Reds. But yeah, I completely agree. They've actually got a couple matchups coming up soon. First with the Phillies as part of that homestand. Looking at the schedule now, they got 4 games with the Phillies and then 3 games with the Rays. So who knows? By that time, Tampa Bay may have lost 1 or 2 games by the time they come in on Monday. But again, yeah, like we were just saying, it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be as bad as last year. Last year was just, they've put it behind them, and even after the opening day loss, they were ready to put that game behind them, realize that it was only one of 162 games. So yeah, is it going to be, a division winning season? Maybe not. Playoff season? Maybe not. But I think we've seen, and Reds fans can feel a little bit optimistic that maybe last season was the lowest of the low, and now it's always a mix of highs and lows, and now it looks like they're maybe just slowly but surely getting back on the highs.
Yeah, we need the highs and none of the lows, man. We need the highs, and front office, don't make any more crazy moves, all right? But right now they're sitting 3.5 games out of first behind Milwaukee. He was 8-3, and Pittsburgh surprisingly 7-4 right now. When you look at the conference, the division, St. Louis is 4-7.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that stays, or you think Milwaukee obviously is a very good team?
They are, yeah.
Who do you like to win this division right now?
Right now, I'm saying Milwaukee just because of the fast start. And, when they usually get on fast starts, they typically tend to continue that momentum and success. And now, will that translate into playoff success? That's been the million-dollar question for them. They've had recently not had the biggest amount of trouble getting into the playoffs. It's a matter of what can they do once the postseason actually begins. And then, of course, yeah, you can never count out St. Louis, can't count count out the Cubs, especially they had a very entertaining back and forth. It ended up being a 2-game series because, again, the one game that was rained out is going to be made up in September as part of a doubleheader. But right now, I think it's, in general, very early to make any significant calls, any concrete calls. It's still a wide-open NL Central division.
No question about that. NL East, Atlanta's winning that with an 8-4 record, leading that right now. Arizona and San Diego 7-5, leading the NL West. Now, if you look in the AL, obviously Tampa Bay at 11-0 right now, dominating, running it. They're in the top 5 with point run differential right now at plus, what,
63, what I'm seeing right now.
Wow, 63.
83 runs scored, 20 conceded.
Yeah, and but if you look at the Yankees and Toronto, they're both 7-4. Baltimore 6-5, and Boston's 5-6. Looks like this division is going to be elite. All right, now once Tampa Bay comes off of this amazing streak, do you see them staying atop, or do you? Because I like Toronto this year as well. I was looking at them, and the Yankees obviously are right there with their, their dynamic duo.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
what? I mean, who do you like coming? Right now, obviously, like Tampa Bay, but I mean,
right? Yeah, I think, especially
given
I had a chance to see a bit of highlights from Tuesday's game between the Guardians and the Yankees, and the Yankees just got on the Guardians from the get-go. 11-2, I think the final score was in Tuesday's game. So yeah, you can never count out the Yankees in the AL East, but you also have Baltimore is not that far behind the two teams. I mean, it is a little odd right now. We're talking about Tampa Bay so far ahead of everybody. Everyone else is playing for second, but nothing lasts forever. I mean, can Tampa Bay go 162-0? They can, but the odds are against them.
Very much against them on that one. If anybody plays the FanDuel for that, they'll be swimming in money for the rest of their life.
Oh, yes.
The Guardians 7-5 right now, half a game out of first place, and they just lost their last one, and they'll be taking on they're taking on the Yankees right now.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see what they can do as well. They're right in the thick of things over there in the American League. Now, let's go ahead and shift our weight a little bit to the minor league platform. Dayton Dragons.
Yes.
Didn't play initially. They
had 3 games on the road to start, and they were in all of them. They just came up short on Thursday and Friday. Saturday they had a big game, a much-needed 7-2 win for their first win of the year on the road at Lake County. Blake Dunn, in his first year with the Dragons in High A, he hit a 3-run home run to kind of spearhead that big 8th inning that they had. So then they had Sunday and Monday off. They come back Tuesday for the home opener, and if you've been watching Dayton 24/7 now, we've done stories about how the front office was concerned that home sellout streak was going to end, but it is at 1,442 games and counting at the time we taped this. So they got the sellout for the home opener on Tuesday. It was a great game too. Great Lakes Loons, the Dodgers affiliate, got out to a big lead. Dayton trying to trim the deficit, but ultimately Great Lakes winning 9-7. But it's still a very early call to make in the season whether or not any team is going to advance and finish with a positive record in the High A and the Midwest League. A lot of baseball to be played between now and the end of the season.
Coolest thing about minor league, if you have a bad first start, you can come back in the second half, start over.
Exactly.
Still make the playoffs. So in the majors, if you start out bad like the Reds did last year, no chance. Now, real quickly, Wright State UD, the battle continues. Wright State's been thumping everybody.
They have been,
all over the state. They have taken their talents all over the state and said, thank you very much. We feel like we're the top dogs. UD, it's a big rivalry. What do you think about that game real quick?
I'm looking forward to seeing it in general. I know this will be my first time to see Flyers and Raiders baseball playing each other, and to have it at Day Air Ballpark. It's not necessarily a home and home. It's a nice neutral site, a good even distance from both campuses at both UD and Wright State over in Fairborn. So it's a neat opportunity for the ballpark to showcase itself, neat opportunity for both UD and Wright State to showcase themselves, and I'm just expecting a great matchup because I know, yes, Wright State, they've been on form in general the last couple weeks. They have been the top dog in the Horizon League the last couple years. UD, not quite that kind of same status in the A-10, but they can still put together some wins when needed.
All right, well, we're looking forward to seeing what happens with that Wright State-UD rivalry, especially with the Raiders doing their thing, all right? When we come back, we're going to talk NBA playoffs, hot topics, and our teams of the week. Checking out Dayton 24/7 Sports Podcast. Lock in with us.
Welcome back to the Dayton 24/7 Now Sports Podcast. I'm Matt Digby, joined by Deon Cash as always. Dayton 24/7 Now is the ABC and Fox affiliate, and ABC, the home of the NBA Finals, now going on its third decade. I can't believe it's been about 20 years now since they got the rights. And speaking of NBA Finals, we do have the NBA playoffs just about to start. The play-in games taking place. First and foremost, it's been a couple years of the play-in format since that format was introduced. First off, what's your verdict on how the play-in format, has it worked, has it not worked? What's your take on it?
Playoffs. Play-in, I mean, the play-in, LeBron hated it. Now, they're playing in it every year. I think it brings a level of excitement to the 7, 8, 9, 10 spots for both leagues. And then if you're in 11, 12, you still have a shot. But it's interesting because when you watch the game, everything's on the line for the teams, and you kind of see some of the deficiencies and things that happen, which kind of showed up, I think, in the two games now. The first two games that we saw, Atlanta able to stop Miami, and we'll let you give your take on that. Atlanta looked really good. They had all of their pieces kind of ready to go, so it was a nice win for the ATL. Shout out to Cedric Toney. We'll get his take on that as well, as he's down in Atlanta, the former Atlanta Hawk and Dayton resident. But the Lakers, they took on Minnesota, and everybody's wants to crown them champions, but they really struggled.
They did.
At the end of that game. It was really hard to watch. It was
they struggled at the beginning too, as I recall, yeah.
Yeah, but they have LeBron, they have AD, and Schroeder really played a great role in helping them get that win. The Lakers are in, and that's what the NBA loves. But they're taking on a Memphis team, and
they will be.
I've already said, hey, Dylan Brooks, he's the player of the year when it comes to talking trash. He said, hey, he wouldn't mind taking on LeBron and putting him out. So here's
an opportunity to do so.
But I will say that it's going to be, NBA's in a good position where the West, you don't know who's going to come out the West. The East feels like it's a three-team race of sorts.
It does, yeah.
With Boston, with Milwaukee. And possibly Philadelphia. So it's going to be very interesting, but I like the play-in, but it just kind of shows where these teams are that are in this 7, 8, 9, 10 position.
Well, and you mentioned who is in that position this year. For instance, the Miami Heat. They were a division winner, and yet because they have 44 wins, Brooklyn have 45. The Nets get that 6th seed. Miami originally goes down to 7th seed. They lose to Atlanta, and if they lose to either Toronto or Chicago, the Heat are done. I mean, a division championship, and they don't even make the first round proper of the playoffs. That to me is a little head scratching, I gotta say.
Yeah. This is not you're very. And the Heat are a good team, but they haven't played up to potential. They've had some injuries this season, and you go into that Miami-Atlanta game oh, Miami's gonna win, and Atlanta just took their legs from under them and
Trae Young
took it to them physically inside, dominated them rebounding wise, second chance points, all of that interior presence was dominated by Atlanta. But this is an interesting scenario. Like you say, the Heat win their division, but they're not really rewarded for that. And, the NBA is always tinkering with the rules and with this part of the game. So I will expect them to look at that, maybe see what they can do within the next couple of years. But Miami's on the chopping block now.
It is, they've got they first have to wait on the outcome of Toronto-Chicago. That's the 9-10 game in the East, and whoever wins that will take on Miami, and the winner of that will have to face Milwaukee. So if it does end up being Miami and Milwaukee, two division winners playing each other in the first round again, back in the day, all three division winners either got the top 3 seeds straight up, or if one didn't have that strong record, they at least got a top 4 seed, so at least they had home court advantage for one round of the playoffs, if not two. But at the same time, yeah, you look at the favorites, definitely Milwaukee's the team to beat. I don't think anyone would argue that in the East. Boston and Philly, you make a good case. How about the Cleveland Cavaliers, 51-31? They get the 4 seed, so they have home court advantage against the Knicks. I was just looking this up. It's the first time they made it since 2018 when they had that run of making the NBA Finals consecutive years. This is the first time they've made it without LeBron since 1998. You talk about 25 years. That was the year of Michael Jordan's The Last Dance.
That was the Freaknik year. No, I mean, it was around there a few years later. No, but I mean, that's a long time. And it's overdue. And Donovan Mitchell absolutely he's a star headed to superstardom.
Yes,
if he can get them past this New York team and on the brink of defeating a Milwaukee team, which who they'll be probably
likely who they'll face in the
next round if things go. But New York is going to be a scrappy opponent. That will be a great game to watch. Brunson went over there and he showed how valuable he was by leaving Dallas.
Yep.
And that boy took Luka and them out of the playoffs, which is unreal considering they did get Kyrie. That's the biggest head scratcher in the game right now.
And you think about it, who's probably one of the biggest stars right now? Certainly Giannis is still one of the big stars, Ben Simmons. But also you don't get far down the list until Luka Doncic. Well, he's not even in the playoffs this year.
Not even in the playoffs. And as a Mavericks advocate, I'm very upset about the season because when I watch the playing game, I'm like, I know we could beat, just the way that these teams are playing, where the offense was there, but Mark Cuban had another plan.
Yep.
And that will be that. But when you look at these matchups, Milwaukee, but Cleveland, New York is easily the most enticing matchup.
100%.
In the first round in the Eastern Conference. Now in the Western, it's a little bit better. Denver, they'll be waiting to see who they take on in that 8 spot. But Memphis taking on the Lakers, Phoenix taking on the Clippers, and Sacramento taking on Golden State. It doesn't get much better than that as far as ratings and for hype train for the NBA.
And the Kings are making some history of their own. They're finally breaking the longest postseason drought in NBA history. Not since 2006 had they been in the postseason, but now they're back for the first time and coming up on 20 years, just shy of 20 years. So big achievement there for Sacramento.
20 years of not making, just 2 straight decades of just
almost, yeah. I think 17 to be exact, but still, yeah.
Low. That's not even mediocrity because you can beat 500 and get to the playoffs sometimes in some seasons. So congratulations to the Kings. De'Aaron Fox and that Malik Monk and Sabonis, that trio has really helped elevate them to a playoff mode, and it'd be interesting to see if they can take the champs out.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, when you look at these matchups, do you have an upset special anywhere?
I mean, if anything, seed-wise, maybe Golden State over Sacramento. But when you think about it, and Golden State's status as the defending champions and the dynasty they've set for coming up on now a decade since they started that run, could you really consider it an upset if they beat the Kings? I don't think so. But that's going to be a great series to watch. Probably the most compelling one out of the West for sure.
Yeah, the NBA's in a good position right now with all their stars they got a lot of big stars in, and a lot of parity right now. So it's going to be fun to watch. And like you said, that Golden State Sacramento, that's the one I'm going to take. I was looking at the Lakers, but I'm going to take Memphis. I think that I'm going to take Memphis over the Lakers, but every series is different, so we'll see how it plays out.
Well, you look at how they played the other night against Minnesota, the Lakers, in that play-in game, and there were periods where it was downright ugly. They were able to get by Minnesota that night, but who knows if they could do that for 4 nights against Memphis. And then the way the bracket's set up, if the Lakers do advance to the second round, they'd be facing the Kings or the Warriors. They probably won't be able to do that 8 games or 12 games or 16 games.
It's going to be crazy NBA vibe coming up for the next month. All right, we're going to wrap up here. We'll be back with our Hot Topics, Dayton 24/7 Sports Podcast, powered by Ladybug Services. Check us out, man. Welcome back here, Dayton 24/7 Sports Podcast, powered by Ladybug Services, and it is a beautiful vibe out, as last week it was April showers, and now we're getting that baseball weather amongst other things, and we're going to talk hot topics. Now, sometimes, we get into certain topics, but there's a lot of stuff that's going down in the off-season of different, or even in season with some different sports, and we'll go ahead and get to our hottest topics right now in this springtime. time. Now, no, our first topic is obviously Ohio State University, the spring game. OSU spring game
coming up Saturday the 15th at the Horseshoe.
Yeah, and with guys leaving at a rapid pace to the NFL, talk about that spring game and what it really means, man. And what's the vibe like?
It's going to be a great vibe to see who all steps up to fill those voids that are left by all the people that have either left in the transfer portal or declaring early for the NFL draft, like C.J. Stroud. And of course, the big question is going to be who's going to succeed C.J. Stroud as quarterback. It's a lot of people are thinking it's down to two guys, Devin Brown and Kyle McCord. However, we've just learned that Devin Brown will actually not be taking part in the spring game because of an injury. So that's a golden opportunity for Kyle McCord. He did get a couple cleanup opportunities in games where Ohio State got out to a big lead early, and McCord was able to get some snaps before the clock hit 0 in those games in 2022. Now, how does he do in a more pressurized setup, a situation where every snap is meaningful from the start of the game to the very end of the game? So huge opportunity for McCord. Of course, definitely would like to see Devin Brown compete, but again, he will be out injured for the spring game, so he'll have an opportunity in fall camp to potentially overtake McCord. We'll see how everything shakes out over the next couple months.
Yeah, but like you said, that spring game can mean a lot. He come out and play well, he's going to have to come back and really take that spot from McCord. Looking forward to it. I know it's always a great vibe there, and a lot of the pros come back, and it's just the atmosphere is just insane in Columbus for that.
And the other thing is also with recently Gene Smith, the athletic director, giving a big vote of confidence to Ryan Day, even though Day, his record still speaks for itself. It's a great record, but you look at the last two games against Michigan, you look at the losses to Georgia in the semifinal this past season, a couple years ago when they made the college football championship game, but they got shellacked by Alabama. There's just no way to sugarcoat it. It was a dominant performance by the Crimson Tide that night. But the interesting thing is, how does Ohio State bounce back from those two losses? Day right now has a record of 1-2 against Michigan. He's lost back-to-back. First time that's happened in more than 2 decades. It's coming up on 3 decades the last time OSU lost 3 straight to Michigan. He certainly doesn't want to be the one to break that trend, so it's going to be very interesting to see the changes that will be made, not just leading up to Saturday's spring game, but also until the start of fall camp in the 2023 season.
Yeah, that heat was major on Coach Day's back after that loss, and then they got in and then still lost. So, but he's in a good spot. He has a lot of weaponry around him. I think he'll be able to somehow shake it off, and it's championship or bust at Ohio State. You know how it goes.
It is. Yeah, they expect to compete for Big Ten championships. They expect to compete for national championships. But that's not the only spring game going on in the Buckeye State this weekend. UC has their spring game coming up also on Saturday the 15th. That's the start of a brand new era for them. New head coach Scott Satterfield, hired from Louisville after Luke Fickell left for Wisconsin, and they're getting ready to join the Big 12 Conference. That's going to be a big change for the Bearcats. Yeah, the Big 12 adding 4 new teams this year. Houston, UCF, BYU, and Cincinnati, and Oklahoma and Texas are still in for at least the 2023 season. So it's going to be a 14-team Big 12 conference. So a lot to look forward to in that regard.
Yeah. Welcome to the new college football.
The new world of college football.
Yeah, where everybody teams up and joins Super League.
Yep, 14 teams in the Big 12, 14 teams in the Big 10.
Crazy. But congratulations to the Bearcats. They long deserved to be in a bigger conference.
Yes.
And they got, Big 12. It doesn't get much bigger than that, for sure. Hopefully they can start it out the right way. Shout out to my guy Derek Shepard on that line.
Yep.
Do your thing down there, Big Shep. And also the other guys that's down there as well. Do your thing locally. We just had Leonard Taylor, who was just he's in the NFL draft, so we see what happens with him. Good luck, Lenny, and to everybody down there. Bearcats doing their thing.
And also shout out to a couple of local guys from our area. We had Evan Tengesdal from Wayne. He has already enrolled early at UC to be ready to take part in spring ball drills. Same with also from Wayne, Josh Padilla. He's over at OSU. They both signed early back in December, so they could be part of spring ball right now.
All right, Sammy Anderson, do your thing down in Natty. Watch for that name as well. All right, WNBA draft. It was a great sight, especially for South Carolina. They had 5 players drafted,
unbelievable,
which is insane. And then the state of Ohio doing our thing.
Yep.
As we had 3 ladies drafted in the first 10 picks.
Jordan Horston, I know she's from Tennessee, but she grew up in the Columbus area, went to Afrocentric, then played college basketball at University of Tennessee, and now she's headed to the WNBA. And also big night for Ohio State's Taylor Mikesell. She was one of the players at the draft, hoping to hear her name called. She was the very first pick in the second round, so that's a lot to look forward to for her. And also Dorka Juhas, formerly of OSU, then transferred to UConn, had a great career both with the Buckeyes and the Huskies. She's also was selected, I believe, middle of the second round, so a lot to look forward to with the WNBA.
No doubt. And the WNBA, y'all need to get some more teams. I mean, there's a lot of great players coming in. Y'all running out of, they've been on 12 teams for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Come on, like get some more teams. There's a lot of good players, and there's players that are not even in the league that should be in the league, but they have to do some expansion because it's getting a little crazy now. It's getting a little crazy. Come on now.
Yep.
But they're in a great position, and these ladies in college, they're getting it too. As you saw, LSU stars worth $1.5 million now or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So WNBA, they're not even rushing to come to the WNBA.
I mean, Caitlin Clark still has a year until her name comes up for the WNBA draft. So yeah, that's another whole year with the Hawkeyes that Iowa's definitely looking forward to, I'm sure.
Shout out to the Mike Seal family as well. Them chips too. Somebody bought them out.
Yep.
Bought Mike Seal out, but hey, Taylor, go ahead and reinvest. Get back into the game. Bonus Sports All-Star game, high school game going down in the HBCU Classic in Columbus as well.
Okay.
So I wanted to give a shout out to them. I met Clark Kellogg there and had a chance to chop with him last year, so I'm looking forward to going to that. Bonus Sports High School All-Star game, though, that will be lit at Centerville High School. You going to check that out?
I will. What's the date you said again?
It's on Sunday, I believe. This Sunday it'll be going down.
Sunday, that's Sunday right. Is the 16th.
And I saw the rosters that just been announced, and George Washington is playing, and I believe Gabe Cupps will be playing as well. So it should be a great vibe there.
What a big run of events for Gabe Cupps. Ever since the end of the formal season, they had an opportunity to play in the Throne down in Atlanta. They reached the quarterfinals, and then Gabe was also taking part in the tournament over in Italy recently. So it's been quite a month for the soon-to-be Indiana Hoosier.
Yeah, he's living it. He's living his best life, and ain't nobody stopping him, man. He had an excellent high school career, and we're excited to see what he can do as a Hoosier. All right, now as we get ready to wrap it up here, I want to give a shout out to some of our baseball teams of the week, as we have the Tip Red Devils, we have Anna, we have London, and we have Springfield Shawnee JV teams as our possible teams of the week. And then a big shout out to the Preble County Kraken, as the Little League started out there and they did some damage. So shout out to all of these teams, and you can vote on who you think should be the team of the week. We'll give you more information on that when you go to Dayton 24/7 Sports Podcast. All right. Now, with that being said, make sure you go subscribe to the channel on YouTube, Dayton 24/7 Sports Podcast, and make sure you check out Matt, Mr. Smith, and I as we continue to do our thing here in the lab. All right. You got anything else, Matty D?
Another great week of sports in the books, and look forward to more exciting moments from the world of sports, especially now from the baseball diamond, especially the weather we've had the last couple of days. Let's hope it stays that way.
Yes, Lord, let's please keep it like that, because umpire get a little cold out there. Been beautiful weather and great vibes. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Dayton 24/7 Sports Podcast. Make sure you check us out each and every week.